Welcome to this edition of House of Preeminence and the G-Spot podcast, where we're going to be talking all about, in this edition, and as we move forward in the next couple of months, all about a return to wellness, wildness, and woo. So you know, if you've been following me for some time, that I am absolutely passionate about wellness and manifestation and the links between wellness and high potential and manifestation. So I have a gorgeous guest for you today. You're going to be hearing a lot more about her because I've discovered something to look after your body, ladies, that is like, well, if you just checked off your ideal way of looking after your body, this checks everything on the list. Now, this has nothing to do with gyms and conventional weights and traditional cardio. I know that there is this enormous return to fitness in the world, and that's a really, really, really good thing. However, it doesn't suit everybody. It doesn't suit every body, and it doesn't suit a lot of women. And I am absolutely delighted to introduce you to a movement, not a way of just moving, a movement, which is been founded by my new friend, the gorgeous Alice Bracegirdle of Bellyfit. So welcome, my lovely.
Thank you. What a beautiful intro, Jenny. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, so you know how excited I am about having found you and Bellyfit and getting involved and wanting to share it with the world. So let's just address the elephant in the room that we've been talking about is conventional fitness at the moment. And you see it, Instagram, social media is absolutely saturated with girls and ladies and men like getting harder and more muscly and more extreme, and all these extremes which are happening all over the place. This return to fitness is a good thing, but conventional fitness is not necessarily a good thing. I want you to tell us why, Alice.
I love that question so much. Thank you. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge that, like you said, this sort of return to fitness, as you're calling it, is so important. So many people are moving their bodies and recognizing that fitness is an essential part of their wellness. And that sort of philosophy or ideology or kind of methodology of changing your body in that way that the mainstream kind of traditional fitness is promoting, it is going to continue, and that track is going to get more and more intense and more focused on the physical and more focused on shrinking bodies, making them harder, making them conform more to what we've been programmed as the ideal body shape or size, and for men and women. So what we're doing here is creating something new. And I think it's also important for people, women especially, to understand that this whole idea of fitness and exercise being separate from our lives is a very new concept, right? It was really in the 80s that, we had Jane Fonda and Cher and coming on the scene with their 20-minute workouts and their I even have a vinyl of Jane Fonda, which I treasure. I love Jane Fonda. But that was really, the aerobics movement in the 80s and the sort of bodybuilding movement. That was the first time that we saw fitness for the general public as something that we should all be doing. And it's really just expanded and diversified from that. But before that, moving our bodies and being healthy and fit, if you will, was much more integrated into our daily lives, into our daily way of being, especially women. I mean, we certainly were not spending our days sitting at computers and having to sort of monitor our day as far as, okay, I'm only supposed to sit at my computer for 30 minutes and then I should get up for 5 minutes. I was reading the magazine, the recent issue that came out, and there was all these recommendations to stay moving and keep our energy going and not to be sitting at our computer for too long or whatever it is that you're doing. And these are very new concepts in the last few decades. And so we're still trying to figure this out. And I am super grateful for the mainstream fitness industry for sort of bringing us everything that it has. And now, as you and I and many other women and professionals and customers have identified, we're now looking for something new. And that's where Bellyfit comes in. Because when we created the fitness movement back in the 80s, well, not me, but when it was created, we didn't look at the differences between men and women. It was just fitness for everyone. And so now we're recognizing that there are some very specific needs that women have and some very unique and customized aspects that we need to be offering women and be open to as women with regards to moving our bodies for fitness and health. So, I mean, there's many different aspects of the fitness industry that we can go into. So I don't know, maybe you tell me where you want to jump in.
Yeah, that's really interesting that when fitness first had its heyday, that it was just fitness for all with no difference, which is why women got into this idea that pounding a gym and using bench presses and everything was normal, and it's become even more normal, whereby for me, and I'm sure like a lot of women, I found it completely soulless, and like it's got no soul. It's like it doesn't move me, but except when afterwards, when you feel good because you got the endorphins going in. But there was no soul in it, and certainly there's always been this kind of, I've got to force myself to do it. As you said, as it was separate. I have to go to the gym, or I have to leave what I'm doing in my home and actually start to exercise. Whereby what I think that you're inviting us to open up to is for movement to come back into just a way of being in our lives. And I'd love for you to just tell us about the origin of Bellyfoot, because when I discovered it for the first times, I was like, yeah, I'd like a fit belly, just like, but it actually has not a lot to do with a fit belly, although that's a consequence. It's not the principal aim. So tell us how Bellyfit originated.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So I was inspired to create Bellyfit from this realization that the feminine in our world, from a very philosophical sort of creation perspective, was being denied. And to me, it's almost like it feels like a glitch in our universal program. It feels like a glitch in our matrix. It feels like there's something not quite right with how our dimension, if you will, our reality has been created. That for so long, the feminine, through so many centuries, has been oppressed, suppressed, denied. And I'm not talking women and men necessarily. The feminine has been denied in both genders. However, because women are, in my opinion, the most potent manifestation and expression and embodiment of yin primal feminine energy, we have by nature and by a result of the feminine been oppressed. We as women have been oppressed. So as you know, we could do like a whole hour-long conversation on that. But let's just say that there have been times in our history where, and I will get to how Bellyfit was created a little bit more in a second, but when we look at how women have lived in the past, we've always been tribal creatures. We've always lived in groups, and we've done our daily activities together. So whether that meant gathering the water, tending to the fields, tending to the animals, tending to the children, tending to the fire, tending to the home. And we would also celebrate together. So dance and music and community engagement with the men, of course, and the children, it's been a part of our experience and our existence on this planet through every single culture that there is on this planet. We have always come together as tribal members to dance and to celebrate, whether it was birth or death or the harvest, or the changes of the seasons, the changes of the human body, whatever it was. We have celebrated with dance and movement. There's an amazing book called The Faith Instinct that I would recommend everybody look at. And it's all about how we as humans, in our seeking of the divine, in our desire to connect with source energy, we have always danced. We have always found that beat of the drum, and we've moved our bodies instinctually to it. And in our modern culture, we have lost this. And this was one way that we kept our bodies fit and healthy through our lives and through the ages. Now that has been taken away from us, and we are now in separated little individual homes, suburbs, cities, whatever it happens to be. So not only are we disconnected from our tribe, if you will, but we're also connected from nature. And so those two things are having a hugely negative impact on us. And so when I created Bellyfit, it was in the dark night of my soul. And it was in a very, very challenging time. I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I had just essentially escaped from a very physically and emotionally abusive relationship. And I was living alone in a tiny little apartment. I had moved back to my hometown to get the support of my family, my amazing mother, and my brothers. And I had the realization that the feminine in our world is not being acknowledged the way that it needs to be. That we have essentially stepped off of our throne as women, and that because of this, all of humanity is suffering. And I was experiencing this so deeply alone in my apartment with my little girl. I mean, children are not meant to be raised alone. They're meant to be raised by a community. And so being alone in that situation was so dark and so challenging. I was dealing with substance abuse, depression, sleep deprivation, anxiety, fear, all of these things. Raising a small child alone as a woman will trigger your deepest wound, your deepest fear. It's a very unnatural experience to be in. However, in my case, it ended up being my greatest gift, because I could see how my substance abuse, my depression, my extreme exhaustion was having such a negative effect on my baby girl. And I was not willing to let that continue. And so I dug deep, as we do. We either fall or we dig deep, or we do both. And I kind of did both in that situation. And the blessing in that time, aside from the incredible support of my family, the blessing at that time was that I had already a background in fitness, dance, and yoga. I was raised by yogis. I had been a belly dancer before my daughter was born, and I had become a certified fitness instructor. So when I realized, okay, Alice, you got to get your shit together right now. This is not okay, and something needs to change. The first place that I went to was movement. And it was a frigid January day here in Canada, literally ice on the windows. And the other piece that's really important here is that I had come from a raving background. So I had, all through the 90s, before my daughter was born, when I was experimenting with consciousness expansion and electronic music and staying up all night and dancing, my consciousness shifted incredibly in those days. And I realized the power of movement and music without drugs. So I was getting high on moving my body and moving in unison with huge groups of people to the beat of a drum. And that connected me to something so primal in my being that I just couldn't let it go. And so in those days with my baby girl on that frigid day in January, I still had that music from those days. And it was the music that gave me access to my body again. I put the music on and I started moving my body. And my experience with belly dance, my experience with fitness, and my upbringing and my personal practice with yoga and energy awareness, the intelligence of the breath and awareness of movement all kind of started gelling together. And here we are 15 years later with a global empire of hundreds of instructors teaching this fusion of these three elements all around the world in over 30 countries. And it has been my absolute saving grace. It's my magnum opus. It's my gift. And I don't see myself as being the creator of Bellyfit. I am quite literally a channel for this movement to come through. And it's not haphazard. There's nothing sort of casual about it. It is ceremony. It is ritual. It's bringing women together. It is for women only. So it's very customized spiritually, emotionally, biologically, anatomically, physiologically, mentally for the feminine female being. And we can talk a little bit more about that later if you want. But it continues to evolve, but at its roots, it is connecting us back to what I like to say, the DNA of our movement, or our primal feminine essence, our true feminine nature, if you will. And like I said, it continues to evolve, but it is still, the essence of Bellyfit still anchors back to that realization that the feminine in our experience as humans and as women needs to rise. It needs to meet the masculine, ultimately uniting and dancing with our beautiful masculine. And because of COVID and because of the consciousness rising on our planet right now, so many women I feel and I see in my business are waking up and looking for this deeper connection through movement. We're recognizing that, when I'm on my deathbed, I'm not going to be saying, wow, I'm so glad I burned all those calories and got those flat abs and that tight ass. No, that's not what we're going to be saying. We're going to be saying, I feel like I lived my purpose on this planet, and I can, now feel that I did what I was supposed to do when I came here, and feel at peace with that.
Well, Alice for president, that's what I'm going to say.
We'll all be dancing all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm certain that so many women will be like just waking up to everything that they know instinctively, because what you're talking about, you're talking to our instincts. The need for community, and that we are all women as feeling this need to reconnect with our sisters. And even though we can't do it so much in person anymore, we do have technology to allow us to build community and to move together, which is, but mostly to integrate it back into our day, into our life, into it as a natural way of being. And that's one of the things I'm so excited about. Even me, I've made a mental kind of tilt. Oh, wow, I found this back again, because I also did a lot of different kinds of dance. I started off in ballet, but I didn't have long enough legs to be a ballet dancer, and not enough suppleness in the hips. But nevertheless, dance has been a love of mine all of my life, until I lost it. And I did have a spell as a professional dancer at the age of 41, which was quite something. And I also did fitness training, but when I was experimenting, I did every single, I did the tango and tap dancing and 5 rhythms and all sorts of things. But it's so easy for us to lose the habit of dance as ritual, as dance as a ritual. And this is something I've been thinking about a great deal, Alice, and you've really touched on it so much, is that people have lost ritual. People have lost celebration at the seasons, don't even realize that there are seasons. they've lost ritualizing, expressing in movement gratitude and all that sort of thing, whereby, as you said, in indigenous tribes, in traditional communities, people shifted and jumped and tapped and gosh.
Exactly. It was much more natural to our being. We didn't have this idea that dance needed to look a certain way, or as you said, with movement like ballet and so many others, that we have to have a certain kind of body. So I think there's a lot of trauma to unpack there, and not just in our lifetimes, but in ancestral lineages. And so really, when you invite women to dance and to move their bodies, there's so much resistance there from so many different places within and without. And so there's a lot to move through. And there are so many opportunities for women to engage in this idea of dance as ritual, or even just conscious, intentional movement. There's so many opportunities. And also, I think a lot of women really shy away from the more woo. We love the word woo woo. We say woo woo here in Canada. It's a little bit, there's some that are a little bit too woo woo for them. And they need more structure. They need this freedom to move their bodies in this way, but also the structure. And that's what I really created with Bellyfit. From the very beginning, I always knew that I wanted this to be something that was designed for the average woman, the mainstream, because if you want to go alternative, there's lots of options, but it's for that you already have to have a certain level of confidence in your body, and in your awareness in order to step into those environments. So using the group fitness structure and format to deliver this experience to participants has been hugely successful because it feels safe. And this is the one thing that is so important for us to understand as women, that whether we have experienced trauma in our own bodies, whether it's sexual trauma, physical trauma, emotional, whatever it is, and we know that the statistics are insane, that most women have experienced some sort of sexual trauma by the time they're, I don't know the exact age, but 30 or whatever it is. And that stays with us. So in order to overcome that and to return to our bodies, there has to be some deeper work done there. And that's why at the beginning of every Bellyfit class, we always start with an opening meditation. We welcome women to close their eyes and to tune into how they're feeling in their bodies. And all of our Bellyfit instructors are trained to have their first goal as first and foremost to bring women back into their bodies. That's it. Just bring us back into our bodies, because we've disconnected, right? We're living from here up for whatever reasons, whether it's cultural trauma, ancestral trauma, trauma in this lifetime. The first task for us as women is simply to return to our bodies, to be embodied. We use this word a lot, but what does it actually mean, right? You can talk about it, you can write about it, you can be in circle about it, you can study it, whatever it is, but until you actually take this wisdom into your physical body, breathe and move it through and truly embody it, it's not going to actually benefit you. And so that's Bellyfit is almost like the companion to all the other work that we're doing in the sort of personal development field, if you will, to actually bring it into our experience. And so moving through that trauma is really, really important. And I think that some women are ready for it and some aren't. And the ones that aren't, they're going to feel safer and more comfortable in a CrossFit class, in a boot camp class, in a TRX class, or in a Hatha yoga class or something like that, where they don't necessarily, they're not going to necessarily move energy the way that we're going to move in Bellyfit, but they are going to move their bodies physically. And that's a great start, right? Maybe that's where you need to be. However, what we're seeing is that a lot of those movement practices spin very intense Ashtanga yoga practices, a lot of boot camp, a lot of things that are focused very much on the physical are very linear and also encourage a hardening of the body, as you identified earlier, right? So yes, we want to have strong muscles. We want to have tone in our muscles and have good posture and physical alignment and have a strong pelvic floor and all of these things. However, there's a line that when we cross over that and become too tight and we focus on the contraction without acknowledging the release, then we're actually moving in the opposite direction of where we want to be going. And we're now actually, we're solidifying the trauma into our bodies even more. So it's about finding that balance between the contraction and the release, right? The contraction and the extension, the breath, the inhale and the exhale. So it really is, it's in one way, it's very simple. Another way, it could be a little bit complex. And that's what we've endeavored to do with Bellyfit, is create a 60-minute experience where you get that 30 minutes of dance cardio, where you will be led through a very specific routine, but always encouraged to listen to your body and move in a way that feels comfortable for you. And that's why we have 20-year-olds doing Bellyfit classes alongside 70-year-olds, and they're all customizing the movement based on the instruction of the instructor to make it work for their body. They're encouraged to connect with the pelvic floor, to use their breath, to make the movements feel good. We welcome pleasure back into the practice. The no pain, no gain philosophy has no place in Bellyfit. This is all about feeling good in your body. That's why our tagline is love how you feel. And then after we've done this sort of celebratory dance part to this amazing music, getting out of our heads and into our bodies and in our own little zones, but also connecting to the group of the group and the community that's around us as well. Then we come down to the floor and we do our 15 minutes of very focused core work. So we're working on strengthening the pelvic floor and the core, the full body, and then we finish with a beautiful stretch and a closing meditation. So it is very much a fusion. And because we've incorporated this belly dance, we are honoring the natural movement of the female body. We are acknowledging we have breasts, we have bellies, we have hips, we have breasts. So we honor this natural diversity of the female body through belly dance, which is just such a beautiful way to honor our curves and to honor who we are as women, not because we want to put on the jingly belt and, all of that, which is super fun, but it's not about performing for anyone else. This is about us feeling sensual in our bodies and honoring our inner goddess in all these different ways, and essentially just moving in this way that is so natural and intuitive for the female body, and then fusing it with the power of the fitness, the self-awareness, the breath, and the alignment of the yoga. And it seems to be working.
I'm not surprised. No pain, no gain. So we can officially drop that one.
Yes, we're dropping it. It's gone.
Okay. We'll drop the mic on that one, because I'm sure there's a lot of women who I know quite a few who shy away from exercise because they think that it's got to hurt.
No, and this isn't to say that you'll do a Bellyfit class and you'll feel your muscles the next day. You're going to feel your core and your quads and your booty and your arms. And it's going to be that good kind of, oh, I worked my body. So there's a very important distinction between pain and actual strain. We want to actually strain the muscles slightly so that we're creating that response, that repair response. So we are strengthening our bodies. This is not just about, willy-nilly moving through space. We are moving with intention, but it's not going to hurt while you're doing it. And it certainly shouldn't hurt after you've done it. And we're bringing pleasure back into the fitness game.
I've noticed that, because I've noticed in watching the classes and in starting to do it myself, is that things wobble. just like I was like, okay, things wobble, which is what they're meant to do.
Yes, exactly. I love that you brought that up, Jenny, because that's exactly what we're talking about. We as women have flesh on our bodies that wants to move. We are designed to have more fat. And this is where it's such a shame that the fitness industry has not acknowledged this. And also just the diversity. There are thin women, there are women that have more fat on their bodies. We all have different shape and size, and we want to acknowledge this. It's about finding our optimal. And so you might hear in a belly fit class, embrace the jiggle, shake it through, shake it up, breathe, these kinds of things. We don't want to shy away from feeling the flesh on our body move, no matter how little or how much there is. And from a health perspective, getting our lymph system activated and shaking things up in this way has huge health benefits. So we don't want things to ever be stagnant. We want the cells in our body to be activated. We're shaking things up. We're shaking things up in our hips. We're moving the energy through. So it's very multi-layered as far as what we're actually doing just through the movement of the belly fit class.
Totally amazing. I love that. I love the fact that you acknowledged that this was channeled through you this time in your life, that it was allowed to come through when it needed to, and it's music to my ears and my body. I know that your music's so super cool, because a lot of the, as you said, the overwoo ones are a bit they're not, but people love rhythm. And who doesn't love rhythm? And your body will want to move with rhythm anyway. You hear rhythm and you hear a drum, or you hear a beat, and our bodies respond to it just
right.
Naturally.
Yeah, exactly. Just naturally. And that's the key, right? This is a moving meditation. And our goal as belly fit instructors is to take our participants into that moving meditation as quickly as possible. So we want to get you out of your head and down into your body. We call it the experiential phase, or the trance phase. So we take the first couple minutes of the class to learn the choreography, and then we repeat it over and over and over and over again with minor variations and modifications. So that beat of the drum, and this is where my rave background comes in, right? Because we're using incredible electronic music that we license from artists all over the world. So a huge amount of our budget as a corporation goes into licensing this music that is all vetted by me and then custom mixed by our music team to facilitate the 60-minute experience. So there's no break in the music. We start with the beautiful ambient, and then that beat drops in, and it keeps going all the way till the end, that last 10 minutes, when the beautiful ambient meditation drops back in. So our goal is to lead you through this journey where you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about how you look, or all you need to do is be in your body, follow the instructor, and then allow yourself to just get taken away by the music and the movement. And at the end of it, you do not feel like you were just in an exercise class. You feel like you were just in this beautiful experience, this journey with these other women, with your own body. And it's an opportunity for self-reflection, right? It's 1 hour in our day where we can tune out everything else, whatever is drawing our energy, whatever is pulling us in all those different directions. So it's really an opportunity for self-care as well. And we need to start seeing movement as self-care. It's not just giving yourself a facial or going for a manicure or whatever. How we're moving our body also needs to be self-care. And so meditation, moving meditation, really coming out of your head into your body and letting the music take you away can be hugely healing and nourishing and nurturing for so many of us.
Totally amazing. Totally amazing. Just to start to, we're going to talk about how people can find out more, and what we're going to be doing after this interview together. Is just tell us, take us back to the belly again, and what is so important, why you called it belly fit and not,
Thank you for asking that question, because it's been a bit of a tricky one to navigate. Calling your business belly fit, it's triggering for a lot of women. And we actually, about 5 years ago, I love telling this story, we thought, you know what, let's change the name, because the association of the word belly is so hard for a lot of women, and can be a little bit confusing and a little bit misleading. So for 6 months, we did focus groups and brainstorming sessions, and I got all of my, super high level marketing, branding, entrepreneurial women experts, and we did these, brainstorming groups, and we look at all these different names, and I talked to my whole team about it. And honestly, we came up with so many names and none of them spoke to what we were actually doing, and ended up creating more confusion with our focus groups. And I really sat with it. I did a good meditation on this, and I really took the time to just be alone and consider what are we trying to get at here? What is the path forward? And what I realized was that our goal as a company, as a brand, is to help women reclaim this word belly. We have so many negative associations with this area of our body for all the reasons we've mentioned: the negative body image, the trauma, the comparison with what we see in social media, this area of the body, the fact that we birth our children from here. I mean, this is our source of power. This is, whether you have a uterus in your body or not, is irrelevant. As women, this area of our body, our first, second, third, it's all connected, obviously, but this is a very potent area for us. And we do tend to hold a lot of trauma here. So for us to reclaim this area of our body, to essentially revisit this area of our body with love, with compassion, with acceptance, with understanding. I mean, so many women even have a hard time just placing their hands on their belly. They've decided they hate their bellies. I mean, this is one of the greatest travesties of our modern world, is that so many women hate the way their bellies look and feel. This is a deep, deep wound that needs to be healed. And we don't focus a lot on this in Bellyfit because this is a fitness class. Women have not come to, do the deep, deep work. But like I said before, the first step is returning to our bodies. So by keeping the word Bellyfit the word belly in our brand, we're taking a stand, and we're saying we are for bellies. We are here to support, to strengthen, to help women reclaim this area of their body with love and compassion and understanding. And so in that keeping of the name Bellyfit, which originally came from belly dance fitness, I really took a personal stand as the CEO of the company and said, you know what? I'm standing by this. We're keeping it. It might take us a little bit longer to educate our potential customers around what this is actually, but I'm so glad we did, and I'm so glad that we are holding strong with this reclaiming of our bellies, essentially.
Yeah, and now more than ever before. Now more than ever before. So
yeah, because the images of flat abs and six packs are not going to stop ever, and so we need to understand that the health of our core and our belly is about so much more than what we see in the mirror. It's about our pelvic floor. It's about our organs. It's about our flexibility and our core strength, our ability to literally hold ourselves up in the world.
Yeah, I think that is a topic for a whole other conversation, which needs to be had, because it's so important. I mean, yes, that is absolutely loaded. And I'm sure so many women can resonate with trauma that's held here, with hating their bellies. Even people with flat abs hate their bellies.
Exactly.
It's like,
right?
What is it about this area that we've got, such hang-ups about? So such beautiful work. We are going to share Bellyfit off the charts, hopefully, because I want everyone to know about Bellyfit. I didn't know about it until a couple of months ago. So, and I'm usually kind of on the ball with new things, but I want everybody to, as many women as possible, to know about Bellyfit, know about what you're doing, the movement, what they can do for their own lives. So I know you just maybe you could just talk about what's possible in online courses and the different possibilities, Alice.
Yeah, super easy. People can go to bellyfit.com. We've got tons of workout videos that they can do at home. And so you can, just choose what resonates with you. They're all 45 to 60-minute workouts. We've also got some new 20-minute workouts that we've launched. And then, of course, there's our instructor training program. So if somebody has a desire to share this movement with the women of their community, and even if you don't have any fitness experience, even if you do, if you're looking for something that is more holistic, more spiritually minded, and designed just for women, then our online training program is available at bellyfit.com as well. You can do the training all online, working with my master trainers one-on-one as well. Hopefully we'll get back to live trainings one of these days, but for now it's all online and through Zoom as well. So yeah, bellyfit.com, and the Bellyfit Life on Instagram is where people can find us.
Wonderful. And you're going to be joining us in the magazine as well, aren't you?
Yes, I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited to write about the deeper philosophy, not about belly fit necessarily, but about women moving their bodies and how this has evolved through the ages and where we're heading into the future and why it's so important and how movement can be a spiritual experience for us. This is what really lights me up, I want women to experience this elation and this connection to source energy that is possible through movement.
Yeah, you touched on at least 6 to 8 topics that I know need to be talked about. That the rituals, the sisterhood, the trauma, the body image, so much to talk about. So yes, it's going to be our absolute joy, especially me, to share you and to share Bellyfit with the world, and to get this message out to as many people as possible, and to do the training myself, because I have a real desire to experience it and to let older women experience this after menopause, because that's a whole other relationship with the belly after menopause.
Yes, it really is. And Bellyfit does tend to attract women that are 40s and beyond, mostly mid 40s to, mid 60s. And I think that's one of the reasons, is because we're really realizing at this age, I'm approaching 50 myself, and realizing that, our relationship to our body is so, so important. And as we get older, we've had enough trauma to realize, okay, I need to do some emotional healing. I need to do some spiritual healing. I need to get my mind right. And that's where Bellyfit steps in.
Awesome. Thank you, universe. The universe stepped in again on the timing. And I know also that you're going to be working on doing some preeminence Bellyfit, and I can't wait to explore that with you. So thank you so much for coming today, Alice. This is just the beginning of a beautiful adventure. Wherever you are listening to this, go over to Bellyfit straight away. Don't wait until we get this out to the world. Go and find Bellyfit straight away and get in. There's the Facebook groups, there's the Instagram. You'll see you can see classes, examples of the classes online. My goodness me, this is just, I know this is going to be life-changing and paradigm-changing, and I'm super thrilled and excited to be teaming up with you to get this out to the world.
Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. I'm honored. Yes, it's the beginning of our journey together. I'm so excited.
Okay, well, onwards and upwards. We've got so much more to talk about. So for today, thank you so much. And but onwards and upwards to our bellies.